Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want. Thanks for logging on. Today, we're breaking on through to the other side, the dark side of the moon, with the Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon, 44.25 millimeters in diameter, black, polished, and matte ceramic. This was the undisputed Omega Stand star of the Baselworld 2013 trade show. When it debuted at Basel, it was perhaps the most revolutionary debut in the Omega Speedmaster catalog since the late 1990s Speedmaster X33, the famed Mars watch. But unlike the Mars watch, this one has been a sales sensation with unbelievable staying power. To this day, 2 years later, Omega dealers are still struggling to keep this one in stock and fighting over the rights to the trickle of inventory. But Watch You Want has one, and we're going to break it down and showcase it for you on the wrist. Now you can see the dark side of the moon is bigger and bolder than the traditional Moonwatch. Whereas the traditional Moonwatch is 41 millimeters steel, this is 44.25 black ceramic. The result is that it wears lighter than a conventional 44 plus because ceramic is somewhere between aluminum and steel in its mass. And the way this one spreads its weight on the wrist allows it to wear very comfortably. The lugs are nice and short. As you can see on my wrist, which is 6 1/3 inches in circumference, 16 centimeters. It fits nicely. I'm not one to jump at the chance to acquire a 44 plus watch unless I've had a real good impression of how it fits. And I can tell you that this one would easily fit on a smaller wrist because it's more than accommodating to mine. No sense of overlap, no tendency to hula hoop. The fact that it's on a beautiful combination Codora and calfskin leather strap is just the icing on the cake. This is a very light wrist presence, very comfortable. Aesthetically, an absolute stunner. Now, I want to emphasize that the dark side of the moon is about as different from the original Moonwatch as you can get. It's a tribute to what Omega calls the mystery and allure of space, rather than a direct historic reference paying homage to the 1969 Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch and its successors. The bottom line is that this watch is all about technology, contemporary size, proportions, and luxury watch finishing. And that starts with the case itself. Zirconium dioxide, it's nearly indelible, featuring contrasting matte and polished finishes on the lug's case flanks and lug tops. It looks like $1 million. I remember years ago I was watching Orange County Choppers, long before that show kind of jumped the shark, and Paul Jr. and Sr. were fighting over whether or not an all-black chopper had contrast, and Sr. wanted to know where was the chrome, and Jr. was saying, here, matte and polish, that's contrast. And you know what? The dark side of the moon has that, and it has it in spades. It adds tremendous definition to the case and subtle contrast. Subtlety really is the byword for all the detailing on this watch. Moving inboard to the tachymeter scale, the tachymeter is no longer a piece of either acrylic or PVD, depending on the era of your Speedmaster Professional. Here it is likewise zirconium dioxide, very hard, indelible, like the sapphire on top, nearly scratch resistant. Ceramic is one of the modern kind of wonder materials of the watch industry, and it prevents the premature aging due to knocks and scuffs that can degrade the finish of a luxury watch. To have that on the tack, on the case, in combination with a sapphire crystal, it really one-ups previous efforts in the sports watch scene because these sports watches are everyday watches. They're not ones to sit in a watch box or to be brought out for formal occasions. They're going to suffer the slings and arrows of daily life. And while the original Moonwatch with its acrylic crystal and stainless steel case was a survivor, designed to make it through the rigors of space employment with scratches, scuffs, but fundamentally intact, the dark side of the moon is designed for terrestrial exploits, and it's designed to continue looking good through the course of daily wear, day in and day out over the course of a lifetime. A fantastic achievement in materials technology. It also pays dividends in aesthetics. Moving inboard to the dial, it is a gloss finish with a twin register layout, but I'm going to call attention to that subdial at 3 o'clock. It is a mono counter featuring both hours and minutes. It allows Omega to create the appearance, the vintage appearance of a twin register chronograph, while still featuring the hours, minutes, and seconds indications of a modern tri-compax chronograph. At 6 o'clock, you feature a date window. Likewise, another feature that distinguishes this one from the original Moonwatch, that one has no date, this one does. This one also features 18-karat white gold hands and indexes. Another sign of the quality and the premium baseline of this watch. It's not designed so much as a no-holds-barred tool, but a sports reference that splits the difference between utility and luxury, and the beautiful mirror-polished applied indexes in white gold hammer home that fact. Now, the movement is Omega's in-house caliber 9300 chronograph, 60-hour power reserve, free-sprung, automatic winding, column wheel actuation with vertical clutch engagement. All of the current standards in the watch industry are represented here, with a few that others are still struggling to catch up with, including a full silicon, SI14 Omega calls it, balance wheel and hairspring. Now, what silicon or SI14 in Omega speak gives you is the ability to declare amagnetic properties. Now, there's anti-magnetic, the shielded movements, for instance, of something like a Blancpain 50 Fathoms or a Rolex Milgauss. There's anti-magnetic technologies like anachronous nickel or the parachrome blue hairspring that you see in the Rolex Milgauss. And then there are amagnetic properties, simply immune to magnetism, not affected. This watch could essentially be exposed to an MRI without significant deviation in its timing properties. Its magnetic resistance is essentially unlimited, practically speaking. The caliber 9300 is a true twin-barrel Omega in-house movement based on the 8500, the first generation of entirely coaxial, basically base plate to winding rotor, start to finish coaxial designs, not adapted from anything that already existed. And the 8500 and the 9300 have finally helped the coaxial to realize its full potential in terms of long-term rate stability, durability, and robustness that the legendary Dr. George Daniels, the creator of the system, first envisioned when he began playing with this technology in the 70s and when he finally helped Omega to industrialize it in the late 90s. The coaxial has finally delivered on its early promise with this Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon and the caliber 9300. Now, this Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon comes with all boxes, papers, and accessories, all original documents of provenance, technical manuals, and I'm going to mention an extant and active Omega factory warranty. Now, one of the unique features of the 8500s and the 9300s, I mentioned that they'd helped the coaxial to realize all of its potential, and Omega, in recognition of that fact, backs all of those movements with a 4-year manufacturer's warranty. It has no equal in the watch industry. And the bottom line is this watch, having been purchased early in 2015, has a full 4-year Omega factory warranty. This is as good as it gets. If you want the Dark Side of the Moon, a watch that's hard to find, never mind to find complete with warranty, you've got the best of all possible worlds from Watch You Want right now, because this watch is available with all documentation and a full factory set and warranty for immediate delivery. The sensation of 2013, the Dark Side of the Moon, nevertheless remains red hot. If this is the watch you want, see it in high-resolution images and maybe take it home for yourself on our website, Watch You Want.